There's Maction coming up tonight. It'll be Ohio and Western Michigan kicking off at 8 Eastern on ESPN2. First place is on the line in the MAC. Chase Daniel, ESPN NFL college football analyst, will be on the call tonight. Are you feeling it? Are you feeling Maction tonight?
I'm feeling it, man. I'm in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I landed at 2 a.m. at an airport I didn't even know they had, and got about 6 hours of sleep, already starting prepping, man. Maction it's awesome because it's great for the conference. It's great for everyone. It's great for the players to get on national television. So we'll be on E2, and we're excited to get going, man.
Did you get recruited by MAC schools?
I did. I got recruited by MAC schools, but there were some other options where I didn't have to travel as far north from Texas. And we got like a log jam up here at the top of the conference. Ohio, Miami, Buffalo's really good, Western Michigan. The winner will be in the driver's seat for sure, whoever wins tonight.
I'm curious how you would assess last night's game. That there was great defense, but if I'm going to look at Jordan Love, and we've seen them have a couple of the worst losses. You lose at home to Carolina, you lost to the Cleveland Browns. And I don't know if we keep thinking, okay, he's the next, following line with Aaron and Brett Favre, where he might not be a great quarterback. He might be a good quarterback and potentially a very good quarterback. What do you see with Jordan Love that's missing here in these three losses where they're not even getting 20 points?
Yeah, it's brutal. And that's the thing, right? It's the losses and how they lose, because you score 2 touchdowns in their losses and they're winning these games. And I think that's sort of been the issue. Was Jordan Love, I think, is a really good quarterback. Do I think he has the ability to be a great quarterback someday? Absolutely. Everyone thinks that because we've seen short spurts of consistent play. Now, when stuff isn't right and the run game isn't working for them, and they're without Jaden Reed, they've been without Tucker Kraft for a few weeks, I think that's where he struggles. And that's where he struggles consistently making plays. Now, last night, it was freezing cold. It was a tundra. It was such like a Green Bay Packers game. And I just thought for sure they were going to pull it off. And every time they had a chance to, it was offensive penalty, missed drop, another penalty. And they could never get in front of the sticks. And I think that's sort of the issue that maybe some Green Bay Packers fans are wondering, and some other fans is like, when is he going to take that next step? Because a couple of years ago, before he was hurt, last year, he was hurt. Like most of the year was hurt. And I don't really judge quarterbacks when they're hurt. I mean, look, he played all right. They didn't play great. But 2 years ago, I think they started 3-3 and they reeled off 6 or 7 in a row. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, he's making the jump. Like he's making the jump. And then it's just the inconsistent level of play because, I don't know if he's a guy, Dan, that can elevate your team without 10 other guys around him playing well. Like I do think 10 other guys around him have to play well. And then in cases that they do, it's elevated. The play calling is weird with Matt LaFleur. It's like when I'm watching the game, I'm like, can you take a shot down the field? Can you throw the ball more than 5 yards? And so they want to play this ball control offense. They only had 10 possessions last night, only scored 7 points. It's brutal.
Help me understand the 4th and 6 call by Nick Sirianni at the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know. I was listening to Troy, who called the game, and I'm like, how would I handle that in an analyst role? And I would say the same thing. I'm like, I have no answer for it whatsoever. And then the play call too, it's just like, oh, let's throw a jump ball to AJ Brown. I'm like, when he hasn't been involved all game long, go to Devontae Smith, do a little slant route in between the field. But yeah, I don't quite get that sometimes. And for whatever reason, Nick Sirianni, we saw it a couple times last year. These end of game management situations where you're paid the big bucks to be the head coach, you're not involved offensively calling the plays, you're not involved defensively calling the plays. At times, that has sort of been his Achilles heel, and you saw it last night. They're just lucky they got out of there because when McManus is lining up for a 64-yard field goal, I'm like, oh, dude, it's going to go to overtime, and then every talk show we would be talking about this. Nick Sirianni be like, hey, and so it sort of is slid underneath, right? Winning cures all, but it's one of those decisions where I'm sure he wants back.
But the result shouldn't change our opinion on this, that they did win. I'm looking at it going, you're lucky you won because now you brought a field goal into play, And had they gotten a little bit closer, then maybe you're going to overtime in Green Bay and you have this game. I just didn't understand the call. Like it's like, hey,
I mean, punt it.
Well,
like
or
right?
kick a field goal.
Yeah, the field goal was. I mean, I think he was playing weather.
Okay,
and so he's in that sort of, because remember wherever the ball sat 8 yards back from the line, it gives them even closer. So I can understand not the field goal there, but pooch punt it, like get it down to the 10. The way the Packers offense have been playing, I think you're good.
we're talking to Chase Daniel, be on the call tonight. It's Max in Ohio, Western Michigan, and how is Kalamazoo? What's the weather like in Kalamazoo?
Dude, I just went downstairs for like a late breakfast because I was doing some prep, and I went outside, and like I live in San Diego, right? So it's like 72 and sunny every single day. My wife was like, "Oh, you need to bring a jacket." I was trying to get out the door, and dude, it's like 25 degrees and snow on the ground. So we're gonna have a Maxion game tonight, man.
37 degrees at kickoff, by the way.
There you go. It'll warm up a little bit.
Yeah. Help me understand Brian Dable gets fired, and I'm curious. It's like he's getting blamed for Jaxson Dart putting himself in harm's way. How does I want to be fair to the situation here, because it feels like Jaxson Dart is going to play the way Jaxson Dart wants to play, but what role does Brian Dable play in Jaxson Dart getting banged up?
Yeah, look, the narrative around that it honestly makes me upset and just mad and pissed off, because I'm like, at the end of the day, when you're playing football as a quarterback, you have to protect yourself. I understand these called runs. We can't put it on Brian Daboll that Jaxson Dart, has been checked for 4 concussions this year, had one, and I get it. Like, that's who Jaxson Dart is and will be in the NFL until he's old and he can't run anymore and he's got to become a pocket passer. That's what makes Jaxson Dart special. If you go back to his Ole Miss days, that's what makes him special. My one thing about Jaxson Dart, and this showed his ugly head in the Ole Miss days, is he doesn't slide. Like, he doesn't know when contact is close, even in the pocket, and he can't have that feel. You look at like Lamar Jackson, completely different runner, I know that. But his pocket awareness and his feel, where he never, ever gets hit straight on. It's the complete opposite with Jaxson Dart. So at the end of the day, as a quarterback, like, the best ability is availability. Everyone said that. But if you can't stay on the field for your team, because look, I don't think Brian Daboll gets fired if the Giants end up pulling that one off. Like, that's when the whole game changed, was when Jaxson Dart went out. So it's not only like what he does on the field, but his leadership and ability and everything about that. And look, it's just Brian Daboll. I thought he was going to make it to the end of the year, but the multiple blown double-digit leads, just too much, I guess.
I mentioned this a little while ago, that we get caught up on red zone and how good somebody is because you saw them on red zone. When you watch Caleb Williams the whole game, he didn't necessarily play a great game, but he did have great moments. And I think it fools a lot of people that they go, man, Caleb Williams had a great game. When he misses some easy throws, he gets, turns his back to the defense and he's trying to make a play again. And so how do you assess Caleb Williams to where he is now to where he was, let's say, a year ago?
You sound exactly opposite of all my Twitter fans, because I cover Caleb Williams extensively, and I tweeted out, like, can Caleb Williams just make a play? And then everyone well, he's had 6 drops. Well, the offensive line has done that. And I'm with you. When I watched the game, and the breakdown's out on the YouTube channel right now, I literally just did it. It's like 20 minutes long, because there were some throws that, without a trained eye, you would say are a little bit off. And those drops can become catches if the ball is just a little bit closer to the receiver. Now, I will say, though, Dan, like, there's something about him in this clutch gene. 4 fourth quarter come from behind wins. And it's almost like Caleb Williams, when you watch this offense, it's almost like he's not the main piece, right? And that's sort of weird to say, but if you look at his numbers, if you look at the game until the fourth quarter, and then when it comes to the fourth quarter, and sometimes the start of the game, there's always that little lull in the middle of the game for Caleb Williams. I will say, compared to this year from last year, getting back finally into your question, sorry about that. I have seen a lot of growth in him as a quarterback, meaning, like, I don't know if he was as good under center play action, Ben Johnson type style stuff as he is this year. He's understanding timing. He's understanding rhythm. He's never been a guy that throws a lot of interceptions. But the one thing that I will think and say that might ruffle little feathers, like, you know how much money the Chicago Bears offensive line put into their interior three this year. A lot of money in free agency. I don't think they played well at all. And I think that's affected Caleb Williams' play because he's getting back there 1, 2, 3 at the top of his drop, and he's having to move early, and he's doing this Houdini stuff because he's literally unsackable. But I think that plays into it as well, along with the drops. I just want to see better consistency, more consistent play early in the game throughout the whole game.
What's going on with Bo Nix and the Denver offense?
Yeah, look, like Sean Payton's my guy, and I know just about everyone on that offensive staff. And when I watch games, I'm just seeing a wildly inconsistent quarterback in the first three quarters. I mean, that's just what it is, and it starts from the ground up, right, Dan? Like accuracy at any level of play, whether I'm coaching my flag football team and my son's playing quarterback, he's 8, or if I'm coaching Bo Nix at the pro level at the highest. You can't be accurate if you got happy feet back there. And you can't be accurate and run the offense unless your feet are stuck in the ground, you're stepping to your target, and you're throwing. And I think he's gotten to a point where he is not seeing it as well as maybe we thought he was. And then so he's been really inaccurate because he doesn't trust what he sees. And that whole offense doesn't trust what they see. And look, even Sean Payton days in New Orleans, we would go through stretches like this where it's up and it's down and it's really down and it's really down, and you're just like trying, and they're still winning games. My thing is, like, I would have loved for them to go get a receiver at the trade deadline. They obviously didn't do that. I don't know if they have enough explosiveness outside to be really good, but the way their defense is playing, I think they'll be all right. And it's gonna be interesting to see how this last season of the stretch for them plays out.
What if I said Drake May is the best quarterback in the AFC?
You would say what? Patrick Mahomes, because the big three, the big four, right? Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Jackson. They haven't been, Burrow's gone.
But playing the best
quarterback.
Who is playing the best quarterback in the AFC?
It's, in my opinion, right now, it's between Mahomes and Drake May, and I'd probably give you the nod to Drake May. Like the reason why I say Mahomes is I know they're 5-4, and I know they haven't been good. They've been like 0-4 in one-score games. Is you just watch what he does on the film, right, Mahomes, and it's like 2021, 2022 MVP Pat Mahomes. But then you turn on Drake May's film, and the amount of growth from last year to this year, with a new head coach, with a new play caller, with a new coordinator, with really, people on that offense other than Diggs, people don't know who they are. Like, I can't tell you, and a lot of people can't tell you around the nation, like their number 2 receiver or their running back Stevenson that they had that was on the bench that couldn't play because he didn't know the offense. And he's doing more with less. It's sort of like the Josh Allen thing of last year, where people were like, oh, well, Josh Allen, he's MVP. Look at how much he's doing with less. And I just like the way Drake May's playing right now because he's really confident. He's got this innate ability to move in the pocket away from pressure, but keep his eyes down the field, which is really difficult to do for second-year quarterbacks. And they're taking shots down the field. And I said this on our Scoop City podcast yesterday, and I don't want to like say anything wrong, but when I watched the film of Drake May and I watched the New England Patriots, how they operate on offense, how different in personnel groupings they are, their shifts and their motions, their play calls, the way it reminds me a lot of those 12 days back in New England. And I'm not saying necessarily he's going to be listen, I'm not saying he's 12. I'm not saying he's Brady. But the way the offense is operating right now in terms of how they're getting in and out of plays, the shifts and the motions. And I know I get that laugh out of you because I just want to make sure I'm not saying that. Just the way the offense is on the field, it does look like the Tom Brady days in terms of how they're deploying offensively to attack defenses.
Is Matthew Stafford doing anything different than he did when he was in Detroit?
Well, he's surrounded by a lot better players because I was with him for that 1 year in Detroit, and I just think Sean McVay has brought out the absolute best in him. I mean, like if the season ended today, he would be my MVP. 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 13 touchdowns, no picks in the last 3 games. He's averaging like 250 passing yards a game. Now he has a cast of characters that I would put up against anyone, right? Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, all those guys. And I think what Matthew has been able to do in LA is great. Like, it just seems crazy, Dan, that they were about to get rid of Matthew Stafford over $40 million. Like, it just seems like such a bargain. Remember that whole thing this year? Like, oh, well, Stafford's going to go to the Patriots. Stafford's going to go to this. Stafford's going to go to that. And everything just seems wild. And I think they're just such a great match.
Have fun tonight. I'll be watching. With a critical eye of you.
Please.
Okay.
I need it. I feel like I've gotten better. I feel like I haven't talked as much because of you. Yep. So I've just sort of laid out, let the Maction environment speak for itself. So I appreciate the help.
Be stealth, though. Be smart when you jump in, and you know that you have a finite amount of time. But see something, say something, get out. See something, say something, get out. And if you somehow can give us a little nugget that we don't see, because your football fan's educated. But when you say, watch this, when I see this, it means this. Little things. You played the position. And, you know, when you get inside that quarterback's mind, it's like Romo said on Sunday, when I've figured you out, a defense, they've figured you out. And then there was a touchdown pass soon after that. Like, it was really something very simple. But he said, I've figured out the defense. They've figured out the defense. And then you had a touchdown pass. So when you give us those little nuggets, that's what makes you stand out.
I love it. Make the words count. Don't count your words.
Absolutely. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Dan.
That's Chase Daniel. He works for the Mothership. Also, you'll love the Chase Daniel Show on YouTube. He'll break down Caleb Williams, Stafford, Drake May, Josh Allen, Bo Nix, and also part of the Athletics Scoop City podcast with Diana Rossini.